Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
Estoy súper bien. Ayer fui a esquiar con mis amigos y pasamos un lindo día.
Hablas muy bien español. ¿Es tu lenguaje nativo?
No, es toro caca.
¿Cómo?
Well, I was trying to say that is bullshit, isn't that correct?
I see what you're trying to do there, but it doesn't make any sense.
But I translated bull and I translated shit and I put them together. What's the problem?
Well, that's a literal translation. It's bullshit. The appropriate translation is tonterías, and the exact translation would be caca de toro.
So you may be wondering why this translation didn't work. We are going to investigate the pragmatic approach to translations when specifically using taboo terms, to find out how directly translating words into other languages does not always retain the word's meaning. We can observe that words directly translated into other languages do not always yield pragmatically correct results. The literal translation of bullshit in Spanish is not correct when trying to convey the same message in English. Bob makes two mistakes that are very common in language translation. First, he uses English sentence structures rather than Spanish ones. His second mistake is using the literal translation instead of the literary or conceptual translation. Bob mistakenly led Anna to believe that he was talking about cow poop. To obtain the most efficient translation, one must translate concepts and not the words themselves. This finding has been consistent over several different languages, including Russian.
Can you imagine? My boyfriend went on a date with another girl. Such a cattle.
What do you mean by the word cattle?
Well, in Russia, we call people who are mean to you a cattle. Don't you do the same in English?
No, we just use the word asshole instead.
Oh.
Similarly to the Spanish example, we observe how semantics differs from pragmatics. Instead of using the translation technique of equivalence, Elena used the word cattle, exactly like she would have in Russian. In Russian, someone who is shameless can be described as a cattle, but this is not the same in English. Therefore, to say someone is shameless, a relevant translation in English could be asshole. This translation technique is called equivalence, which involves the use of an entirely different expression in the target language to convey the meaning of a word or phrase from the source language. Although strictly speaking, literary translation involves the reference to literature across different languages, the need to pay attention to pragmatics during translation can be applied to oral and writing forms of communication. There are many translation techniques which are widely used. In addition to equivalence, the technique we talked about before, another one would be adaptation. This technique uses a word that is more appropriate for the culture of the target language. By using multiple techniques, we can successfully translate from one language to another without any confusion. To make this relatable to high school students, we have chosen to demonstrate this concept with swear words due to the common usage.